For Doppler imaging, we'll press D, and this is going to give us our gate and angle correction. And here's where we'll use this multifunction key. Now, first, when I pulled up that Doppler, it went to steer, so I can steer this Doppler angle. I can press down again to change the angle correction. It's going to show me my angle there. I'm going to go to 60, press again, and I can adjust the depth of the image. To get into Doppler mode, I'm going to press the update key. So if I want to go to duplex or triplex imaging, I'm going to go right here for triplex mode, push it on, and I get the live image up top, as well as the spectral down below. Here's where I'm going to change my frequency. For deeper vascular, I can push down and go to a lower frequency. If I want to change the chroma and how the color is, click here. Wall filter. Pulse repetition frequency, I'm going to change here to help clean up my image. My sweep speed. I can also change my steering angle up here too. If I want to invert or move my baseline. Go ahead and freeze. If I want to go back to B mode and unfreeze, just push B and I'm right back there. Now let's go into color Doppler. And again, we have much of the same functions here. I didn't discuss the wall filter here, but what you'll use the wall filter for is low flow sensitivity. So I'll just push that down, and it's going to change the sensitivity of the flow of the blood. And so if you have low flow or high flow, you use that to clean it up, as well as the pulse repetition frequency. Now the PRF, you can just twist that, and it's going to change your velocity scale up here to avoid any aliasing in the image. So if I go low, you'll see a lot of aliasing in the image, and as I scroll up, it can really help clean up the image and make a fairly large difference in how your color appears and the velocity appears. Now same here where you can steer the box and push down, and we can change our depth again. So we can steer, depth, frequency. Q-beam is another way of helping clean up the image. You'll see there. It helps reduce some speckle in the image and clean it up a little bit. Down below, we'll also change our color map by twisting it here, and you'll see it change up top. If you don't like the way the colors are at default, you can change that. And again, same thing here. If you make a change for the color map or your wall filter and want to save your own preset, you would go about it the exact way we did it before by pressing the menu button. Go to Utility, and then you can save your preset, save as, and you can create your own preset. And this will be any changes you make for Doppler in the 2D or B mode, color, those will all get saved onto that preset. So now you wouldn't have to change your pulse repetition frequency, the wall filter, whatever you've done to optimize the image, it will be remembered in that preset. Go ahead and exit. Going on to M mode. Just click the M. It's going to give you the side-by-side, but if you don't like the way that is, press this layout, and it's going to go up, down, or left, right. You can change your sweep speed here. Everything else is fairly self-explanatory. Now, before I get into depths of the calculations and measurements, I want to address a problem first that many people may be coming to this video to fix. It's the AutoTrace feature. When you go ahead and make a Doppler measurement, I'm just going to go quickly into the Doppler mode. Freeze my image. I'm going to go ahead and hit Calc. And let's just say I want to take this measurement, and I'm going to highlight this, and it says it's going to do an AutoTrace. Well, if I don't want AutoTrace, I can quickly just push this update key and change it so it makes a 2-point measurement. So if I want to go ahead and do that, I'm just going to hit the 2 point, get my measurement, and I'm done. So now I get my results box, and we'll address all those issues here, but it will remember this setting as the 2 point measurement. You're only going to have to change that once. Okay, so let's get back right into the measurements here and explain everything that you just saw. We'll go ahead and use that Doppler measurement. You can do a number of different things. We're going to hit calc, and I'll just take proximal. So it's set at 2 point. I can also use the AutoTrace feature here, where it's going to do that trace, and I can just tell it where I think I want the peak and the end to be, and it'll automatically trace it for me. And then I choose that as the end diastolic. Now I've got all of the measurements here that will go to my report. I can move this result position box by just pressing this down, and I can use the trackball to move it wherever I want on the screen, which is kind of handy. I can also change the size of it by adjusting the font size. I can twist it here to make it a larger or smaller result box, so it takes up less real estate on the screen. Take that back down. Or I press down to go back to the default. I can also press to reset the result position to the default, and again, I can make whatever changes I want. When I made the measurements, I didn't note that I did use the enter key to set these. Let's go ahead and try and take some other measurements. I'm going to go ahead and let's just select a different calc package. So I'm going to freeze and hit calc. If I don't like that calc package, I can just hit the change, and it's going to set me through the various calculation packages that are available. I'm going to just do an obstetric here. I'm going to go back to B mode and show you obstetric, because that will show you various ellipses and all of that. So freeze. I'm going to hit my calc button. I'm going to hit change. I'm going to go to obstetric, and let's just pick the biparietal diameter. So I'm going to hit my first, take the measurement. I can hit the update to go back and forth between which cursor I want, and then I hit enter to save. I'm going to go, trackball automatically goes back to this. I can go down and click again, get my head circumference, and here's where I can get my ellipse. And I'm going to click update, and I can change these. So I can go back and forth and change these here. But if I want to change the width of the ellipse, I'm going to click the enter key. And here I can change the way that ellipse looks. If I hit change again, if I hit update again, it'll go back to that original. Back and forth, enter, change it, enter again, and it saved my ellipse, and again the calculation is over here. Now I'm going to note, when you make any measurements, before you end the study, you have to preview the report. It's very important you push this report button and have it take you to the report. And here you can add images to the report, but it has the measurements here. But if you end the exam without previewing the report, it won't save. So make it a habit to always check the report and make sure that it is what you want before you end that exam. So to add images, I can just click it here. If I want to see my obstetric growth curves, I can click here, and it's going to show where it stands. You can change the layout up here. So. Click OK to get out of there. And I can go ahead and save or export my report. Save will just save it onto the system and make sure you've got it. Export, you can go to USB directly. To export to DICOM, we'll show that in a later video. I'm going to go ahead and hit exit. And to go ahead and clear those measurements, I can just hit clear. These work the same, the distance and trace. If I just want to take a quick distance measurement, I can go ahead and do that and save the image. Note that any measurements here will not go onto report because they're not assigned to any report or calculation package. This is just for a simple measurement. If you take all of these, they will not show up in the report because it doesn't have anything to assign it to in the report. It really doesn't know what you're looking at. The report specifically will say what calculation it used. Next, we'll get into reviewing images and exporting.